Hello, and welcome back to the Impossible Entrepreneur podcast. I'm architect Anna, and I'm an entrepreneur on a mission to do the impossible. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about starting a business from scratch. If you had to start a business from scratch, or if I had to start over, what would some of my top tips be from hard lessons that I've learned, which will hopefully make your life a little bit easier, but also things that I just found challenging that would have been great to have solved from the very beginning. So I've got my notes with me because I was like, I'm not going to remember all of this, but I'm going to talk about my last note first because I think it's relevant. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're planning on starting a business, but you are currently working, no matter how much you dislike your job, don't take the leap without a parachute. And you might hear other people say you need at least like 3 to 6 months of savings before doing that. I'm going to give a couple other criteria and list out why. And if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, you'll know that like I have reasons for this. Okay, so first up, I wouldn't say 3 to 6 months. I would say 9 to 12 months financial runway. And I don't just mean your expenses, I mean your business expenses as well. And for some people, that just might not be feasible, but realistically, this is what I would recommend. And also, ideally, like you could reduce that number if you are already supplementing your income with this business on the side, which is also what I recommend. It will depend on what you do for work, but the way that I would do it is, first of all, save lots of money, acquire the skills that you need for starting a business, and I'll list out some of those. Um, Save, acquire skills, and strategize what to do, pressure test your ideas because there's no point wasting a lot of money on something that like you might not love doing anyway. So test it. Grass is always greener on the other side. Test it out before you make the leap. Really key. And I'll give a couple examples as to like why and how some entrepreneurs found out that what they were planning wasn't a very good idea, and also how to avoid expensive or, you know, more tricky business models, like what would be easier business models. I know a lot of people would like to have like an easier, more comfortable life, but a lot of people start businesses and realize that, wow, I'm actually working 100 hours a week now and I'm exhausted and stressed and I don't love it. Cool. And also they might be making like around the same amount that they would be making elsewhere. So plan out how much you want to make per month as an entrepreneur in the first couple of years, because even if your goal is to be a millionaire or multimillionaire, hey, same, it's still going to take some time and you still need to like build up to there. It's quite unusual to get to that point quickly unless you are getting outside funding. And also, if you are taking funding from someone else, I don't consider it like a good thing. I consider it debt. So if someone gives you $100 million for your business, I consider you are now $100 million in debt. Not that you are 100 millionaire. You then need to like give them that money back at some point. You need to earn it back through the business. So if you're currently working, try to make sure your business is actually something that you want to do. Test it out and see if you can get your income supplemented from this side hustle. Because then you'll also test your limits of how much energy you have. Like if you're doing this on the side in the evenings, the weekends, you'll know, do I have the energy to do this? And if you actually really, really dislike it, it's not going to be worth your energy. So good to start there. With that, just check that it's something that you like doing. If you can in your business, once you start to supplement for your business income to your work income, try to go down to part-time. Again, it's going to depend on the company you work for, if that's going to be allowed. And I've made the mistake to be like far, far, far too transparent in the past with my employers. So as much as I really value honesty and transparency, if it's for your own interests, I'd say keep it to yourself. I'd say keep it to yourself because that information cannot be used for good on their side. If they know that you're planning on leaving or you're starting something, that means your attention isn't going towards them 100%. That means that anytime they could invest in you for like training or upskilling, they won't because they're like, what's the point? They're going to be leaving. And even if they don't do it consciously, they will start to switch off you and try to exit you out anyways. And in like every circumstance, this is every circumstance, every time I've started to like mentally position myself elsewhere or start to plan out things, it's come off very openly. I don't know how to hide that kind of thing. If you're better at hiding it, cool. But then it's made it so that like I've had to leave the company. So like my employment would have ended. If you can be a bit more strategic than I was, keep your cards close to yourself. start doing things on the side. It's none of their business, honestly. Like what you do in your free time is none of your employer's business. So, I mean, the argument I gave was like people start families and that's time consuming and exhausting. But just because I want to do business stuff on the side, that then becomes an issue for companies. And the reality is, yeah, it is. Even though, like, yeah, you can do whatever you want in your free time, it becomes an issue. And even if you're not competing with them, which yes, I would say ethically don't do that. Don't try and poach clients, don't take work, don't compete with your actual employer. That's crazy. Don't. But, make sure that you're positioning yourself strong. Okay. So save, save your money, build up your skills, and we'll talk more about what those skills are. And in the last episode, we talked about skill stacking. So again, what can you do to improve those skills that you need for something like this? But also test out the idea. See if it's actually worth doing and if you can actually make money from it and if you actually enjoy it. And then if it's all working and you're starting to supplement your income, reduce your work down to part-time because then you can spend more time in your business. And then once you've made at least the same amount as what you're earning for your business, or at least your minimum amount that you need to like have coming in each month, then cool. That's what I would say you could stop. Like you've got your savings, you've got your income, you've got your business infrastructure ideally set up. I spent way too long not having a website and now I'm building it with like AI. I've kind of building a couple different options right now, but it's easier than ever for you to be able to build lots and lots of things on virtually no budget. So bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. It's good to have the infrastructure set up as much as you can. I'd say one of the other things that you can do if you're just starting out or if you're gonna be starting out is building your personal brand. One of the things I said is you can do this in lots of different ways, building your personal brand and your business brand. If you can start to build your email list, community group, and or social media from the very beginning, that's what I would recommend because that content will compound over time. And also you'll learn a lot from doing it and you'll get feedback from whoever your audience might be. And then you can use that to test ideas and things. So it's super, super valuable to build that from the beginning rather than build it when you like need it. So if you're like, I don't know what I would produce content on, just talk about what you're testing, what you're trying, like be honest about it. What your challenges have been. People love the struggles. They really, really do. And also what your wins are. So if you're doing like a weekly newsletter, you could just be like, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm testing, here's what I've learned, here's been the challenges, here's what I've done that was successful, here's someone I helped in a use case. Cool. Amazing. That's good content. And then you'll have that to like build over time. And also if you then get into optimizing with AI, you've got tons and tons of data of like how you make decisions, what you've learned, what your strategies are, what your frameworks are, lots and lots of good things. So that would be one thing that I would recommend is try and start all of that from the beginning because you'll learn about yourself, you'll learn about the work that you want to do, you'll see what resonates with people. I can't really understate how valuable it is. It's really useful. Okay. And if you're really just getting started out, the simplest thing you need to do, take away all of the overwhelm and all of the pressure of all of your high level goals and just sell something to someone. You could have a business idea and it's got nothing to do with what you actually sell first, but sales skills are super, super important. It's something I did not have at all for the first 2 years of business, which made me basically like dead in the water when it came to entrepreneurship. You need sales skills. So even if that's like, what do you have around your house that you want to get rid of? Sell it. When I went to a business sort of 10-day networking learning thing, what I did was I bought smart business cards. So they have like a little chip in them so that you can like scan the information to someone's phone. They look really cool and high tech, but it's pretty simple. And you can actually buy a pack of 10 of those on Amazon for like £8. And there's a free company, well, not a free company. There's a company called Hi Hello, I think it's called Hi Hello. And they have like a free app for smart business cards. And they actually tell you how to do this process of like creating your business profile and then like reading to the card itself. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm a little bit rusty. But then what I did was I only needed one of those because there's companies that sell that for like £30 or like £30 a month or £100 or £100 a month. And it's like, if you could buy it really, really cheap and then set it up and then just have it would be awesome. I do still think printed business cards have value though. And what I did was, right, like I said, I only needed one. Gave myself a backup, so I had 8 more. And what I did was I went around and I was like, I got these amazing things because people were like, ooh, what's that? And I'm like, oh, well, I've got extras. I can sell them to you for £5 and actually I'll set it up for you on your phone. Because it only takes a couple minutes, but then it's like, it could take them an hour. Plus they'd have to order it and then they'd have extras. And it's like if it's only £5, was the price of their time and energy worth it? And what was the return that they got from it? They got this cool thing that they liked, right? So it's kind of like I demoed it with my own self and then I sold it. So I bought them for like £8, but then I sold 8 for £5. And then I quickly set them up for other people. But it was a great talking point and also showed a little bit of my more tech expertise, even though it's not techie or being an expert. It just kind of looked cool, like, oh, look at this magic trick. So that was something I sold to people, right? And then from there, it started the conversation of what else do you do? Oh, I do all of these things. And then, like, who knows, you could upsell to other things. So for some of those people, they then also went on to one of the first courses that I sold, which was AI for beginners. And I sold like a live 5-day course for like £100, which is crazy. It's crazy. Back in 2023. And so, yeah, then it was like a good conversation starter. So sell something to someone. Again, I know, like, I hate this phrase actually, but if you're not selling to anyone, you don't have a business, you have an expensive hobby, which I think is kind of harsh because there's lots of businesses that don't immediately make revenue. But try and think of it in like a slightly motivational way. Like, what can you sell? Because also, like, as much as you want to do the thing that you love, at the end of the day, a business is also to make money so that your life can be easier, but make sure that you're giving value to other people and actually helping them. So yes, sell something to someone, but also just focus on one client at a time. You might have massive goals. Like if you are an impossible entrepreneur, you very likely have massive goals, but try and like shrink it down. Start at the very, very first step because earning 1,000 a month from your business is step one. And then earning, 5,000 a month or 2,000 a month, and then working towards 10,000 a month. And then you could be like 100,000. So if you want to make multiple millions, you're never going to get to that point unless you hit these milestones first, and they are very different skill sets. So focus down, focus down, because otherwise, you stay stuck and frustrated. I mean, this is what happened to me. So yeah, focus on one client at a time, deliver as much value as you can, help them as much as you can, ask lots of questions, use every conversation as an opportunity to learn and gather information about like what you're selling, what you're offering, where it might be missing, because that's super valuable. If you can use an AI transcription tool on those calls to then be able to analyze afterwards about the things that you might be missing or the questions you haven't asked, pure gold. I've said this before. AI transcriptions are pure gold, especially when it comes to sales calls. So that's something to bear in mind. Right, losing track of my thought. Okay, so the other thing is once you have these clients, then gather testimonials from them. So you've delivered a good job, get a testimonial. Even if you're starting out not selling anything, you're just doing a lot of stuff for free or for very, very low prices, make sure that you do the exchange where it's like, I will do this for free for you, but I expect like these type of testimonials. I want you to like follow my social pages. I want you to give a video testimonial, a written testimonial, XYZ. It's entirely up to you what you say. Like, I did not do this. I should have done this much more systematically. I had hundreds of free conversations in my first 18 months, and I wish I had done it more systematically. So hopefully that will be something that helps you. So yeah, like I said, build a community group, socials, or email list, really valuable because then if you ever move on to email marketing, which is like a thing that you own the list, then that's amazing. Like even if you have a big following on social media, maybe only 3% of your audience will see your content. So if you post, like I post every single day, one week I posted like 10 times. And I think someone was like, I saw you twice this week. And I was like, okay. So if you're worried about repeating yourself, don't, because people only see a fraction of what you put out. And also, hopefully that's helpful to like take away the scariness of it. Most people don't care. They'll swipe past it. And if they do click on it, cool. Most people do not take time out of their day to write mean things. And if they do, you really shouldn't care about their opinion. And I know I need to keep telling myself this because like that's how they're spending their time. That's not who you want to get advice from. Okay. So part of this is going to be building mental resilience to be able to put in the work, do all of these things, build that from the beginning and know that that is an objective of starting your own business. Like there's going to be things that are out of your control. There's going to be lessons that you're going to have to learn the hard way. Hopefully not. Like hopefully this podcast will help remove a bunch of them. The financial side, definitely. The other thing that I didn't mention before that I think is useful to note, with the financial runway of having like 9 to 12 months, I'd say also make sure if you are currently employed to renew whatever kind of housing contract you have while you're still employed. Because rental places, they don't really like entrepreneurs And I know that there's new laws coming out, at least in the UK, where it gives renters more rights to be able to stay and not get kicked out or have to go through background checks every single year. So if you go from employment to entrepreneurship within like a contract year, it might not be a huge issue. But just to be safe, especially if you're planning to move somewhere else, lock in your rental contract before you are an entrepreneur, because then it can get much more tricky to prove your income. Even though, like I've said many times, employment I don't think is proof of income, because you can get fired and all of your income goes away immediately. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur and you have multiple clients, all of your income does not go away immediately. One other thing is, as much as you might want to do all of this stuff from the beginning, if it's an area of entrepreneurship or business that you are not particularly an expert in, try to freelance or partner with other companies and deliver for them so that you can learn from them, and then also like build up your skill set, your expertise alongside getting income from someone else without having to do all of the sales and marketing on top of the skills that you're developing on the side. So, anyways, like I got into AI and I was learning AI while trying to start my business, while trying to learn about business. So, I mean, I didn't have sales skills, which I've now like developed. So selling for myself makes a lot more sense because I also have lots and lots of expertise from delivering for other companies. So other training companies. At this point, I think I've trained, we're getting closer to 6,000 people, which is awesome. But you build up over time how many people you've trained, the use cases you can get. One of the things is if you are training for other people or delivering whatever service for other people, you might not be able to use their clients, even if you delivered for them as your clients. So the testimonials can get a bit fuzzy. And also, you might never even receive the testimonials if you're not in communication directly with the client. So bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. I think it's good to not have your eggs in one basket, have multiple partnerships, have money coming in from multiple places, learn the skills on the sides that you can sell for yourself. And I mean, yeah, at this point in entrepreneurship, I do still get employment offers like, hey, do you want this job? We'd love for you to work with us, which is awesome. But I mean, the amount that they offer for a year in a lot of cases is what I want to be earning a month in a year. So with entrepreneurship, there's virtually no ceiling depending on what industry you're in and what business model you've chosen and how scalable it is. So even though it might be easier to take that job, if you're financially secure and you've got your skills already, like trust yourself, be brave, be brave. Just know that like it will work. I'm very much, I've said this, like I said this early in season 1, which was I'm only a few months away. I just kept saying, I'm only a few months away. I know I'm on the right track. I'm doing everything right. Like it's so close. It's so close. And I said it for months and months and months and months and months. And eventually it happened. But I can definitely feel that now with the work that I'm doing and the things that I'm learning with more like agentic AI tools and systems. I know like, oh, I'm so close to like a major breakthrough, hopefully in the next 6 months. So either way, kind of block out the rest of the noise and believe in yourself and just keep going and be like, yeah, I'm so close. I'm just like around the corner. It's going to be there in no time. Okay. No. Going through my list. Yeah. Okay. So start your business appropriately in whatever country you're in, but also start it, I'd say, as a sole trader first, if you can. I was very much like empire building from the beginning. And I initially started 2 limited companies. And then I started a third, which is the one that I'm currently working off of. And I made like a parent company, 2 subsidiaries. And it's like, oh my God, none of this is necessary right now. None of it might be useful in a few years. But I have gotten into so much unnecessary trouble having to like pay deadlines to HMRC and all of these things. And then also because I'm a US expat, I just learned that that was also a major problem to have several foreign corporations. So I'm fixing that. You can't know everything. Just try to know as much as you can and be honest when you make mistakes. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, until you're earning at least like, I don't know, at least 80K a year, try and stay a sole trader or whatever that might be called in your company or your country, and then move on to a limited liability type company where you have less liability and you've got more legal systems set up, because like the filing for those can be really tricky. Charities, for example, have tons and tons of paperwork and effort, and you need to have a board. And it's like, you can still have charitable aspects of a limited company without being a charity, right? And then sometimes that can also be like a tax advantage. So try to look at this stuff from the beginning. You might not necessarily need a business account. There's ones that you can start for free. I think think Monzo has a free business account where you can just set it up and then try to keep your tracking clean, what you're spending money on, where the money's coming in. Try and keep it clean from the beginning if you can. You don't necessarily need an accountant right away. You can use like QuickBooks or Xero or anything like that. But try and keep it clean financially. I think that will be helpful. Yeah, and then from a legal side, register, do whatever you need to do with your self-assessment. Be aware of what your legal obligations are. If you need insurance actually isn't that expensive. You can get like a year's worth of insurance for £100 covering, professional indemnity insurance. If you're probably not going to start out as an employer, but if you need it, cyber and data protection insurance, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing anything in public, in person, you're going to need something like public liability insurance. Just keep yourself safe. Like, again, if you hear this and you spend £20 on public liability insurance and you run an in-person event and then someone trips over a wire and hurts themselves, you're protected. You're protected sort of enough, but also try and give like waivers. Moving on to the legal side of things. Legal, yeah, contracts. Make sure you're staying on the good side of the legal stuff. Like, look at where your areas of risk are for your business. If you don't know, again, go into a chatbot, ask it some questions specific to your country and your industry, and see where your risky areas might be, and then try to mitigate them. But yeah, if you're going to be working with other people, if you're going to take on clients or anything like that, partnerships, get a contract, make sure it's checked, make sure it's thorough, and at a bare minimum, discuss very cleanly what your refund policy is. This was a personal, painful example for me. If you, again, listen to season 1 of this podcast, you'll know I ran into some trouble. Everyone seems really lovely at the beginning of a relationship. They're putting their best foot forward. In business specifically, not everyone is really lovely. My dad told me from the very beginning, he's like, some of the worst people are in business. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound very nice. That doesn't sound good. But just to protect yourself, just be really clear. So right now, you could have something like, for your refund policy, especially if you're a service provider, no refunds will be given after, work has commenced and resources and time have been allocated. Cool. Because it's like, even before you start work, you might have like blocked out a couple weeks. You might have put money into something to start it out. Because like you can't get your time back. So just make it clear from the beginning. And if they don't agree to that, there might be an issue. Like they were trying to potentially, take advantage of the situation. So just have that from the beginning. Like just make it just super clear. That's all. Like I think clarity is great because sometimes people aren't trying to do anything bad. It's just if the discussion hasn't been had or you haven't written it out clearly, then there's going to be some sort of miscommunication potentially. And it doesn't mean either of you are bad at the end of the day. It just means the miscommunication happened and you can avoid it. You can avoid it from the beginning. Like I should know this as an architect. We did so many different things with contracts. It's just when you're doing like little one-off things here and there, you're trying to help people as your own business owner, like your own self as an entrepreneur. It doesn't seem as formal, as like constructing a massive building. But yeah, that would be something that I would definitely urge you to do if you can. Let me see if I've missed anything. I feel like I've covered a lot. But yeah, one last thing. This is already kind of a long podcast, but make your life a little bit easier by not choosing predictably difficult business models. Like we know that restaurants can be quite difficult and can fail. We know that like hotels can be difficult. We know that brick and mortar is more difficult if you have the overheads of renting a physical space. That can be difficult. If you need to put up a lot of money up front for something, question it. See if you can rent it first before buying. I'll give an example of this that I heard, which was these 2 brothers wanted to start like a van company where they transport people around, in the evenings. They get a lot of money for moving people around for like hen do's and stuff, or like, bachelor parties, that kind of thing. And they rented a van rather than putting down, 20 to 40K to buy a van, because that's what they were advised to do by someone else, which is good that they did that. And then after 2 months of like, they made the money back from renting. Like they were cleaning up vomit all the time. They were dealing with like drunken, disorderly people. They really did not enjoy it. So the whole idea of their business was shattered, but it's good that they didn't sink all their money into something that they were just hoping would work. So that's why I said test out the idea first, just because it might not actually be what you want. So that's the van example. And the next is a product example. So if you wanted to start, and sell products, and you might be doing this through like drop shipping, you might be doing this by getting materials from another country, again, in like having them shipped to you, then you have to worry about like customs, international purchases, and all of that stuff. There's also like codes that need to be done for different products. So let's say you chose something like slate placemats. They look really cool, right? How much could you sell them for, though? And how much do they weigh? And are they super fragile? Are all good questions to ask. So if you were ordering a lot of these, how many could fit in a box, in a shipping container box? How many could fit in there? How much do they weigh? How many will break when you ship them out to someone? How many returns are you going to get for that? Like loss of income. These are all good questions to ask. So if you're thinking about doing anything product related, and like, I have planned product businesses. I have this awesome one called Prime Placemats, solid, because it's printing out paper and laminating it. So when it comes to, can it break? No. Can it hurt anyone? No. Is it super lightweight? Yeah. Is it high value? Well, what will be on it will be high value, so that's great. So then what you print it for, what your cost is to make it versus your cost to sell it, I mean, how much you're earning, is going to be very different. So your profit margin will be up. So, little equation. If you're thinking about doing a product business, see if it fits these criteria. So, is it small, lightweight, indestructible, can't hurt people, and multi-purpose? Great. So what I mean by can't hurt people, if you go into something that's like chemistry, like lotion or beauty products, potentially they could hurt people. They could have like weird skin outbreaks. There could be lawsuits involved. So like, can your product hurt people? Ideally, no. If it's small, that means you can fit a lot more of it in a container if you're shipping it from like China, for example. So you could buy a lot of them and they could fit in a container because the container costs the same price. But like how much you can fit in it is going to be a different story. So is it small? Is it lightweight? Because then when you ship it as an individual product, there's going to be a cost for the weight of that and like the size of the packaging. So bear that in mind. And then is it indestructible so that you have less refunds and it's not going to get broken, which is also great. And is it multi-purpose so like you can sell it to a lot more people would be a good option. So if you're starting a product-based business, I feel like this podcast is going on to like lots and lots of different areas, but here we go. If you're starting a product-based business, these would be the areas that I would look at. So a good example of this is a company that I saw that just sold wooden blocks, little wooden blocks. You could sell them for lots of different reasons. They could be math, like tools, visual aids. They could be to paint them. They could be kids' toys. They could be lots of different things, but small, generally lightweight, depending on the type of wood, relatively indestructible, can't really hurt anyone. Try and, like, when I say small, also, there's going to be a choking size for young children. Try to like be aware of that and then put that on any of your labels if it is really, really small. But yeah, then if it's multi-purpose, then you can sell it to lots of people. So those are a couple of my thoughts on starting a business from scratch, depending on where you're coming in from. It might be that you've got lots of family money and a lot of this is not relevant because you've got a solid safety net. If so, awesome, good job. Use whatever you can to your advantage. Like, if you are smart, use it. If you're pretty, use it. If you have family money, use it. If you've got connections, use them. Whatever you've got to your advantage, use them. Try not to feel guilty or bad about them. It's just what you have, right? Use it to your advantage. And if you've got something that other people don't have, how can you use it for good? Like, if you've got these things to your advantage, what can you then do in business to help people? So if you can start a business that actually brings value to others, amazing, amazing. That would be the way. I think that's the last point. And next up, make sure I haven't missed anything else. I think we're good. Yeah, fine. Next up, we're going to be talking about building a content engine like this. And I'm also going to give a funny note about the filming today. Okay, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!